Good morning, everyone. Welcome to NetGain Systems webinar on Observability as a Service. I'm Min, your host for today's webinar. The content that we will talk through today is the benefit of observability beyond just monitoring. And plus, you will be part of the first few to get a sneak preview of what we are working on right now, which will be launched in a couple of weeks. Joining me this morning is CEO of NetGain Systems, James Chia. He'll be giving a short intro of our observability framework, followed by a comprehensive live demo by our product managers, Albert Wee. We are also very delighted to have our CTO, Soon-Sia To, with us today to share the exciting new features he has been working on for the past few months. We have a dedicated Q&A session after the presentation and demo. However, please feel free to drop us your questions in the Q&A box during the session, and we'll address them during the Q&A 15 minutes. Now, without further ado, let me hand over to James to kick us off for today.
Good morning, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Very happy to see so many of you here with us today. Let me share my screen. So the topic that we are talking about today is observability as a service on-prem or cloud. Now, the term observability is a very big term. It's a very mouthful, but actually it is just a natural evolution from IT monitoring, which I think most of us are more familiar with. Now, within NetGain, actually, we've been tracking this term observability for the past 3 to 4 years, but really is in the industry, it's really come into prominence more over the last 1 year. In fact, Gartner says that their forecast that the observability market is worth US $17 billion annually, and it's actually growing at double the rate of other categories. So for today, I'll be talking about observability, giving you the NetGain's view, as well as how it benefits enterprises as a whole. And then Albert will come in to do a product demo, and then Soon-Sia will take us through some of the sneak peek of some upcoming new features. So for those people who are not familiar with NetGain, we are an established software company in the IT observability space. So over the last 20 years, we have worked with companies in the Asia Pacific region, so including AIS in Thailand, Singtel and M1 in Singapore, CNMIC in China, Changi Airport Group, and many others. So let's start to talk about observability, right? So I think most of you are familiar with this concept of digital economy and digital enterprises. So whether you're a small, medium, or large enterprise, actually when you're using technology and digitalization, you can derive a lot of benefits from it. So imagine a small restaurant with just 30 seats. Their revenue is always constrained by their seating capacity. But however, if they were to partner with Uber Eats or Foodpanda, they can actually increase their revenue 10 times, 20 times, even 50 times. And of course, for medium and large enterprises, there's even more opportunities to leverage on technology. So for example, in areas like automated warehouse, supply chain, e-commerce, and so on, right? Over the last 2 years, research by analyst firms like McKinsey and Deloitte have shown that companies are actually accelerating their investments into digital transformation. So this means that they're actually taking advantage of COVID period to spend more on IT to digitalize and transform their companies. Now, one thing about digital enterprise is that the impact of digitalization really is that IT becomes mission critical. So you think of about a company in e-commerce, their website were to go down during China's Singles Day, right, 11 November, which is the world's biggest shopping day. That would be a total disaster for the company. And as such, IT becomes ultimately the most critical part of the business. So there comes this concept called IT observability. So IT observability has 3 main aims. Number 1 is to maximize your IT uptime. Secondly is to ensure that users, when they interact with your company through your apps or your website, they have a very positive user experience. And last but not least, of course, most importantly, it is about increasing your revenue, your profit, and your return on investments. So when we say observability, what exactly are we observing? So actually, there are 3 subcomponents. The first one is metrics, then logs, then traces. So metrics is the area that I think most of us are most familiar with, which is IT monitoring. So in metrics, we are really looking at the health of the components in your infrastructure. So things like server temperature, CPU usage, network bandwidth usage, and so on. For logs is really about events and activity. And here we normally look at logs from a few key components such as servers, firewalls, and those kind of key devices. So for logs, we are tracking things like when a user logs in, date and time, his IP address, whether it's been successful or not. The third one is in traces. So with traces here, we are looking at applications, and specifically we are tracking the transaction flow. So we go down to a micro transaction level and then see whether there's any bottleneck or any issues with each of these micro transactions. Now, of course, we know that in each of these siloed area, there are many players, and some of the big key players, the biggest brands I would say, right, will be in metrics will be like BMC, in logs will be like Splunk, and traces will be Dynatrace. Now, the thing about all these top-end brands is that they are very full-featured, very powerful. However, they are very expensive. They cost an arm and a leg, and they are very complex and need a very big IT team to manage. So IT team in terms of IT ops, network ops, DevOps, as well as security ops, right? So they really very much cater to the largest of the large enterprises. So for the rest of the market, the small, medium, and large, this is really where NetGain comes in. So as I mentioned earlier, that NetGain has been tracking observability for the last 3 to 4 years, right? So in terms of metrics, of course, we were one of the pioneers in the business. We've been doing IT monitoring for the last 20 years. About 2 years ago, we launched our product in SIEM, SIEM, which is Logs and Security Analytics. And last year, we launched our product for APM, Application Performance Management, which provides the traces part. Now, having these 3 components actually is not enough. So there's one missing component that, in fact, we will be making an announcement very shortly. And today we'll be giving you a sneak peek about it. So the key underlying component is AI Ops, right? The full name will be AI Assisted Operations. Why we need AI Ops is that because now we are starting to collect more and more data, there's so much data that we should be harnessing AI to make intelligent insight into all this data. So later during the demo, you also see NetGain's key value propositions. We are a unified platform, so it's a single pane of glass to do the full metrics, logs, and traces. We are easy to use, so we cater to the mass market without IT companies, without a very massive IT team. We are highly customizable, so we fit our solution to our customers' environment rather than the other way around. And in fact, that's the reason why some of our large customers like AIS and Singtel, they've been partnering with NetGain for more than 10 years. And then last but not least, because we are catering to the mass market, you'll find that we are affordable and therefore we are cost effective. Let me explain a bit more about what NetGain does using this solution framework. So starting from the very, very bottom deck here, this is about data collection. So I mentioned metrics, logs, and traces, right? So we collect data, such kind of data from IT devices. And interestingly, we are hearing a lot more interest or more demand for collecting from IoT metrics. And of course, IoT generates a lot more data as well as OT, operational technology. So the way we collect this data is through open industry protocols or through our agents or through APIs. So once the data comes in, the next important task is really cleansing and normalizing the data so that we can use it for analysis and correlation. And then we will run it through our proprietary processing engine. And the information that we provide from there in terms of dashboards, reports, as well as alerts will be around metrics, performance, and security. And of course, as I mentioned, we have a machine learning module that really eats up this big data that's generated and that works with our analytics engine. The 6 blocks you see up here, these are the modules that we sell: infrastructure monitoring, log, security, network traffic, application performance management, and network configuration. So these 6 together forms observability. And later again, in the demo, you'll see it as a single unified pane of glass for these 6 modules. Now, we also recognize that not all customers will go full observability from day one. So the way we have designed our solution is that you can start off with 1 or 2 modules, and then expand on along the way. Our key users will be this group from the top. So business users usually work with us through our dashboards and reports. And then the rest of the operations team who use us on a day-to-day basis usually interact with us through dashboards and alerts. So when we talk about observability as a service, this I think it obviously implies that this is a SaaS offering. And in fact, NetGain offers both a traditional on-prem model as well as a SaaS model. For the traditional on-prem model, the customer has to take care of their hardware or their private cloud, and then they have to do the installation and manage and operate the NetGain software. So increasingly, we are hearing a lot more customers prefer a SaaS model. The main reason is, of course, they avoid the hassle of managing the infrastructure. So infrastructure is, of course, managed by NetGain in the cloud. And all that is needed from the client end is a small piece of software called EMEdge. So EMEdge is a lightweight data collector. It collects the data from all the location and then pumps it up through a secure link into the NetGain SaaS for processing and all the other features. And the nice thing about the NetGain SaaS solution is that if you are one location or you have 1,000 branches, and then if you have a cloud and a hybrid, whether you're running on AWS, Azure, it doesn't matter. We support all sorts of configurations. So now I'm going to hand you over to Albert to do the demo. Albert will first take you through an orientation of the solution. But rather than go through features by features, we thought it's better to share with you some of the key questions and key challenges that our real-life customers ask. Most of the time when we are doing presentations, these are the common problems that customers face. So let me run through them. So can I see a consolidated view of the current performance and then drill down to investigate? Secondly, is around security. How can I manage security threats in the IT environment? And then thirdly, if there's a problem that occurs, how can I identify the root cause and troubleshoot the issues? How can I do capacity planning and forecasting? And lastly, how do I manage alerts? Okay. So now I'll hand you over to Albert for the demo. Albert?
All right, thank you, James, for setting this up. Now I'm going to take 20 minutes to give you an overview of NetGain product, as well how this product can address those challenges that shared by James just now. So here we are. This is our SaaS platform, whereby we provide these SaaS services to all our customers and partners to help them to manage their IT infrastructure, no matter if it sits on-prem or it is in the cloud. On the left-hand side is our main menu, whereby you can see all the modules open over here. On the home page, you will be able to have a centralized dashboard display, whether it is the default one or the configurable one that we can make for other dashboards. As well, we have this metrics module to help you to monitor your full stack of technology. No matter these microservices are in the Azure cloud or in the AWS, we will be able to monitor those. In the SIEM module, basically provides you the log management as well as the security events correlation features to help you address whether there's any potential threats within your environment, no matter it is from cloud, from network, or from system application. NetFlow module helps you to analyze the network traffic data by getting the NetFlow data from the NetFlow-enabled devices. It will help you to understand the performances of your network and also to help you to further to do the analytics about the data. APM stands for Application Performance Management. You will be able to see your in-house built applications performance bottleneck. So through this APM, it will easily tell you which transaction you have to optimize in order to give a better user experience to your application's users. CMDB stands for Configuration Management Database. It is mainly for getting a schedule to help you back up the network configurations on your network devices. AI is our new features, whereby later Sun Xia will give you more ideas what is the AI about. But basically, this is powered by the AI and machine learning. It is made for anomaly detection, forecast, and outliner detection. Later on, Sun Xia will walk you through for these new features in more details. Alerts module is our centralized notification gateway. You can choose different gateway to send out alerts to your operation team for them to instantly receive the alerts whenever there's any outage happen to your network, system, application, middleware, database, or even the microservices running in your cloud. That's about our overview of the product. But before I dive into each of the features to show you how these features can help address those challenges mentioned by James, I would like to show you quickly about our new dashboard, how it will be look like. It is our dashboard 2.0. It is the fantastic tool that you can play this dashboard in your data center on an LCD screen that will help your operation teams to understand overview of the infrastructure that's happening in the data center as well on-prem. So right now, this is the particular CCTV system overview that's displayed in our dashboard 2.0. You will have the understanding of VMS status summary and how much interfaces utilization being used for the video system and how is the camera's response time for each of the camera. So that's about our powerful view of the dashboard 2.0. And ease of sharing this dashboard is just by clicking through the sharing button here. We can export this snapshot to anyone who would like to access to this dashboard to have an overview of the data, no matter these people are from the management team or the business owner. Additionally, we have this homepage whereby we can see the business view. This business view will help us to understand the business and the services availability based on the business as well as the services. Okay, so that's all about our overview of our solution. I hope you get a high-level understanding about the idea and what NetGain does. In short, we are actually a unified console providing you the full observability of your IT infrastructure. So let's move on to the first questions that James just now brought up. The challenge is, can we have a consolidated view of the current performance and how to drill down to investigate? So this our default dashboard will help you to understand the overall health status right now. For example, we are actually managing and monitoring for more than 100 devices, and these are the monitors that we have. And how many monitors or devices are under critical condition or major condition that may affect to your IT services. But when we talk about IT services, it's very complex environment whereby one IT services could rely on multiple IT infrastructure dependency. For example, right now I'm showing you this business view. It is an e-commerce company. They have multiple departments over there for IT finance department, sales and marketing department, product and inventory department, and lastly, it's R&D. Each of these departments are relying on certain IT services for them to handle the daily job. So we would like to know if there's anything happen to my IT infrastructure, to a switch, to a server, to application status, what will be impact to my services and what will impact to which department. So this business view will give you an idea how these services being impacted and what are the departments' normal operation job will be impacted. This could be applied to multiple customers that they have multiple locations worldwide, whether the office in Melbourne or the office in Singapore or office in Manila have some critical status from the IT infrastructure. That's how the business view can help you invest to give you a consolidated view of the current performances of all your service availability. Okay, that's all about the business view, but how could we identify the network bottlenecks from the network perspective? We do have a module called NetFlow. The NetFlow helps you to capturing the NetFlow data and give you the full visibility about the traffic source and conversations happening over the last 3 hours. You will be able to see the top application running through the last 3 hours, and also you will be able to see the conversation happening between which two hosts with the destination IP and source IP being listed over here to help you to see where actually the most the traffic is coming from. And enabling this search function over here, we will be able to search the conversation just between this source IP and also list out all the application related to the HTTPS. Because we all understand right now, most of the traffics right now running in the internet are HTTPS. We would like to explore out where is this HTTPS coming from and where it is goes to. So with this NetFlow modules, we'll be able easily to tell either graphically or in the search menu. But another key features for NetFlow is also to detect the search, whether it's any search happening during your network. This is one example to show you how this could be done for detecting a HTTP search connection with application name equals to HTTPS and also the destination IP address equals to your web server IP address. With this, we are checking through every last 15 minutes logs and also to check whether it's more than 2 hits being hit with this the specified query string. We will trigger alerts with the HTTP alerts being detected in the back end, and necessary information will be flowed to your operation team. That's how we address the network portion. But how about the application portion? Application portion is complex, whereby you must be able to understand image microtransactions that transact most of the time and taking most of the time to be fully loaded in front of the end user. So it comes to us, we have developed this APM module, which is a application performance management module, help you to understand how much average response time for your application to complete the transaction, and also how much transaction has been transacted over the last 1 hour for our live demo. From here, we can easily bring out one of the examples to look at the detailed breakdown into the microtransactions. So let's look at this NG APM JSP. Basically, it's loading a JSP page, but in the back end, actually, it does a lot of job interaction of the database, interaction with the application server, web server, or whatever back-end servers you have connected to. In this transaction breakdowns, clearly mentioned that this whole transaction takes about 95 milliseconds to complete. On this bar here, it is obviously that this transaction took the longest time to complete, which is the DB terms counting. For the operation development teams, they were making use of this transaction span to see whether they still have the space to optimize this transaction in the end to turn out to be a good result to the end customer for them to faster load up the page and give them a better user experience. That's how the APM can help you in terms of the microtransaction tracing. So, but that is not enough. This is all the features that we see from each of the module. It is so restricted. We would like to see a consolidated view whereby we have this our dashboard can further make those customized dashboard to display the APM transaction over the last 1 hour. What are the slowest transaction over time? Customer are accessing from what kind of OS? As well, for the SIEM perspective, we are able to collect the logs from the Azure sign-in auditing logs. We can all put in this dashboard into this dashboard configuration page. And furthermore, for the network admin, they will have this network admin tab for them to view the first tier firewall WAN port utilization rate, whether there's any intrusion detected at the Fortinet of the first tier firewall, which is maybe your first tier or your second tier, but doesn't matter. So this will give you an overview to the network administrator to understand whether there's any problem happen to their network security devices. Let's make a very short pause over here to see what we have demonstrated. Based on what we have shared so far, NetGain SaaS provide you a consolidated view to view the performances of your overall IT health infrastructure, no matter those infrastructure coming from your on-prem or your cloud. And also we have the capability to drill down, which just now I have shown you in the business view. We can drill down to investigate actually where went wrong. That's all about the challenge number 1. Move on to the challenge number 2. How do we manage security events and security threats within your environment? So just now I have quickly showed this SIEM dashboard. Let me elaborate more on that. From SIEM, we have to collect some of the logs from different sources. So right now I'm showing you we can collect the logs from Azure, which is from a cloud service provider. But we are not only that. Later on, I will explain more about what are the capabilities to collect the different logs from. For the on-prem logs, we're able to collect from on-prem firewall vendors like Fortinet. So we will be able to list out what the top 5 applications running through for the last 1 hour, and also what's the top 5 denied outbound traffic by country name. That's how we actually making use of this SIEM dashboard to look at the overview. But just now I'm talking about how actually we know what are the logs we are capable to collect with. These are the full list of the vendor that we're supporting for collecting the logs. No matter it is from cloud, AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, as well as you have subscribed some of the SaaS services from Microsoft Office 365, we'll be able to get the activity logs and platform logs from Office 365 as well. For the on-prem devices, traditionally for a load balancer from F5, for internet services from IIS, for security events from Fortinet, as well as middleware, Zookeeper, and Radius, we are also to get the application logs from them to find out is there any potential threats happening within the network or the application itself. That's the capability of collecting of the logs. But think about one question. After collecting so many logs over here, how I'm going to search the logs pattern? Are we doing it manually by our technical or security expert by ours? Or we should find out a potential automated way to help us to automate this process to automatically find the potential threats as well as detect some of the breaches in your network or system. That's where we are coming from. We have this security analytics module whereby we have built up over 600 overrules in our database. And right now I'm going to show you a very simple one, how actually we detect the threat from the internet. If someone is trying to access to my Linux server through SSH session from the internet. So here this is the rules name and there's the detailed description. But let me just simply explain what is going on. So we're actually checking by this query string with the IP range of source IP. Whichever IP address not fall under this range will actually flag out as a security threat, indicate that there is a SSH from the internet. But this is a very simple one. How about a complex one? Can we do the correlation of the security events? I'm going to show you a big complex one, which we actually do the correlation about two logs events. First one, this threat rule, we call it common prompt network connection, which is actually someone trying to establish a connection by running through a CMD. So firstly, we check through whether the CMD is launched, and also subsequently we check the destination IP whether fall within this IP range, which typically this IP range are the local IP address of an enterprise. That's how we address the network security issues. When we talk about SIEM, we must assure that we have one thing to touch on, which is a compliance report, because the compliance comes to a very important role when it comes to auditors come and ask you, hey, show me your auditing logs of your Windows lockdown events. Have you deleted any files on your log server? Those kind of events, you must provide a comprehensive log and the reports to your auditors. Thus, we have this compliance report inbuilt for different compliances, and you will be able to download the reports just in one click. That's all about how actually we manage and address the challenges of the network security events in our NetGain SaaS platform. I hope by such introduction, you will understand how NetGain capable with the logs collection, normalization, threats detection, and also the event correlations, as well as lastly, generating the reports for your compliance and auditing. Now let's quickly move on to the question number 3. How do we actually identify the root cause and troubleshoot? So this brings back us to the business view, whereby this business view is so powerful. Just now I just mentioned that these are the services or the departments that we have for e-commerce. But back to here, how actually I relay this back to my infrastructure monitoring. So my infrastructure monitoring could be from network port, could be from CPU utilization of my server, could be from application status. How I'm going to put in all this together to make it as a dependency of network security. So let's take this IT department as one example right now. In the red color state means that it has some critical alerts happening to this IT department that's impacting to the network security services. And we can actually simply click to drill down to see that, oh, okay, this network security actually is based on the load balancer, it's based on the CPU, and also based on the Palo Alto state. But right now, I just want to focus on the IPS. I'm very curious about what happened to the IPS. So actually, I can just click through. I'll be able to see that, okay, there's some intrusion blocks is changed, means that some intrusion blocks is being detected, and some high severity detection has been detected by my FortiGate firewall. And I will clearly understand that, okay, so now my network security services are impacted by this IPS easily. That's just the powerful of this business view. But bear in mind that we should also have this dashboard, so you can actually create your trouble ticket system number with your trouble ticket number 081118 with all the related parameters may lead to this trouble ticket to help you to further troubleshoot whether anything wrong to the core switch memory or whether any RX utilization run for the core switch, or how about the NetFlow top end source IP that running through within the network, and also have a consolidated view of what are the latest alarm within this environment. I hope that by doing this, using these two key features, we will be able to provide you an ease and convenient way to identify the root cause and also do the troubleshooting using our business view and dashboard. Okay, I just have two more challenges to go through. The first one is how actually NetGain helps in terms of the forecasting. So like just now I have shown you that we have collecting some of the information for IPS for this Fortinet firewall. But let's take a very simple example over here to look at the historical chart of the CPU utilization for the Fortinet firewall. Over the last 3 hours, this is the trend of the CPU utilization. It varies from 50 to 75. But as an IT operation team, well, not only at looking at the past data, but we want to foresee that whether there's any problem could happen during the next few hours. We have this true forecast feature which powered by our machine learning and AI to show you the forecasted trend of this CPU utilization. So later on, Sun Xia will show you some more features which empowered by our AI and machine learning in our coming product release, which related to this forecast. All right, let's come to the last challenge I have, which is our alerts. How actually we send out alerts? We can actually send out the alerts through our different notification channels, whereby we can send out through Slack, Microsoft Teams, Telegram in Singapore. But if you are seated in Manila or Taiwan or Thailand, you might prefer use Line. You might coming from China mainland. We have integrated with AliCloud as well as the WeChat to send you the instant alerts to your chatting instantly. But also we did the integration with ServiceNow, which automatically converting our alarm to a trouble ticket system for you to follow up. As well, do you are expecting to receive some urgent calls from the team automatically, which we have integrated with Opsgenie to enable the alarm transmit to a call diverting to your phone. Yeah, so that's all about all our challenges that I wanted to share. So over the last 20 minutes, I think I have shown overview and also how NetGain can address those challenges. That's all about our NetGain SaaS. And I hope that you have at least captured some of the features of NetGain SaaS and how it could help you to address those IT operation challenges, no matter they are sitting on-prem or in your cloud. For the next 12 minutes, I'll pass to Sun Xia to further elaborate on the new features of AI. So let's go welcome Sun Xia. Sun Xia, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert. So I hope you can see me now. And James will share the slides because I thought maybe I will use some slides to show, to share some thoughts before I go into a very quick demo. I'm going to take maybe 10 to 12 minutes, hopefully. So first of all is that I'm actually leading the technical team and doing product development, working with our customers. And we have been doing product enhancement all the time over the years, in fact, close to 20 years. And I'm excited to talk about a major release that we are having upcoming. And today, my purpose is to really share some of the exciting features that we have in the upcoming release, the major ones, because there are small little enhancement and features, new features here and there that I won't talk about. But for the new features, I really want to share about why NetGain built this feature and what is it used for and how it can help you or your customers, right? So if you look at the new features that I'm going to talk about are mainly three areas. So the new dashboard framework, the AI ops via machine learning, and lastly, the synthetic monitoring. So these are the three areas that I'm going to talk about. But specifically for the new dashboard, I'm not going to talk too much because Albert has shared quite a bit already. But I'm going to more focus on the AI ops and the synthetic monitoring today. So next slide, please, James. So let's talk about AI ops first, right? So artificial intelligence or machine learning is a hottest topic in the industry right now, right? And I think as IT professional, like all of us, we really need to ask ourselves this question, right? This technology is proven to be working, and finally it's out, it's available to developers, to the general public. There are algorithms that you can pick out to predict data, to do data prediction, data analytic, data anomaly detections, and things like that, right? So the question you need to ask is that how does this growing the future of the technology is going to help IT, it's going to help operation, it's going to help my job? And we have been thinking about this a lot, right? So for these slides, I'm just going to talk about how we actually condense down how we're going to apply AI concepts into what we have been doing for customers. So in the shortest keyword, I would call it automated alerts, right? So I don't believe that static threshold is going to work as IT operation get more complex, as we are collecting more data from OT, IoT, or IT, right? So automated alerts, meaning that we are moving away from static thresholds, because static threshold is just fixing a hard-coded rule to say that if CPU utilization gets above 90%, give me an alert. If this one status is down, give me an alert, right? But let me ask you a question, right? So let's say you get an alert today and the CPU utilization is high, right? But it's noon time, and you think, yeah, it's not alert, it's a false positive, because noon time, you know that there's a lot of people. But if you get a CPU utilization that is actually very high in the evening or after work, then you really think that this is a positive. This is why dynamic static threshold doesn't work a lot, and this is where AI comes in really, really helpful. So imagine the ideal system is that you put in a monitoring system. It learns by itself over time the data past 7 days, past 30 days, and then it will tell you, or from there on, it will tell you if something strange goes wrong or something potentially wrong with your IT infrastructure. It will alert you without you doing anything. Smart, isn't it? And this is the future, and I think we are moving towards it. Definitely, from a technology point of view, I think it's achievable, and we are moving closer and closer to that ideal state in time to come, right? So in our automated alerts, we actually break down into three areas, right? So I'm just going to use plain English to describe what these three areas before I dive into the demo. So forecast alerts is very simple. It's like if your disk space is, for example, using at 60%, right? You're happy right now, but how happy can you be for how long, right? When will your disk utilization hits 80%, 90%, or even 100%, right? So forecasting alerts, we use machine learning algorithms to do data forecasts with quite good precision and accuracy to tells you where your data is going. And it'd be wonderful, right, if you can get an alert 30 days in advance to tell you know that something is wrong, something might be going wrong, and you have 30 days of lead time to prevent that happening. The second thing is outlier detection. In plain English, is that one is behaving differently from others. So let's say you like Dell servers so much, you buy 20 Dell servers, and it's all putting into a server farm to support a certain services, right? But out of these 20 Dell server, there's one server that is always cranking. There's always very high CPU at certain time. And it's very difficult for static threshold to do that. But with outlier detection using AI and machine learning, you can actually pick out that this server is pretty unique from the rest. The rest of, for example, the CPU is generally 15% for the rest, but this is not hitting the threshold, is doing at 45%, which is not hitting a threshold, you don't get alert, but outlier detection will be able to tell you that, hey, even though it's not hitting the threshold, it's at 45%, but it's still very much different from the rest of the server. That will give you very, very good insights and clues into how potentially what is going wrong and how you can optimize your infrastructure from that clue, right? And anomaly detection is actually talking about it's not behaving like it used to, right? So if my server, my example right now, right, if my server CPU disutilization of memory or my network traffic is actually running at this rate, usually on the Friday, on the weekend, on a Monday at noon or midnight, is always this way. But suddenly I get a surge in traffic or a dip in traffic, dip as in going down drastically. You want the ML algorithm to understand this, learn from this, and tell you that something is different. So it's not behaving like it used to. That's what the ML algorithm is going to tell you. And so this is the concept. This is how NetGain look at how AI can be applied to IT operations. I think if this can be realized 100%, is actually very, very powerful. And I'm looking forward to this ideal work sooner and sooner. So the other feature that I'll talk about is actually synthetic monitoring, which actually simulate real world transactions. So it's simulating actual user, for example, logging into a bank account, checking the deposit, check out, or e-commerce sites, going into logging into an account, test account, look at the products, click on the products, check the prices, put in shopping cart, check out. So this process, right, as a CEO, as a business team, even as an operation team, you really want to make sure that it's very smooth, nothing goes wrong in between, and it can be completed within like 5 seconds. If it's taking more than 10 seconds, you're losing a lot of revenue, right? And simulating this is so important. It's not even looking at any infrastructure component, it's looking from an outside perspective. And I think synthetic monitoring is going to be very helpful for our customers as we launch this feature. So I'll show a little bit of it in the demo. So I was talking about dashboard, right? So Albert has done a little bit introduction. I'm very excited about this because this dashboard, whatever you see here, it looks nice. And some of the dashboard is even looking nicer, right? It can be created by you quickly. And personally, I am more of a techie and more of a hacker style, so I like dark color more. So I think it looks nicer. There's always a debate between this and the light theme. So this is how our dashboard looks like. So you can pick and choose the things that you want to really display, right? That's all about dashboard. If you like to find out more, we can have a discussion after the webinar. But I'm going to move on to artificial intelligence, right? So let's look at artificial intelligence. And actually, this is anomaly detection and outlier detection that I explained a little bit about what the concept is. And now that assuming that you know what's anomaly detection, remember it's not behaving like it used to. So I created a job. So basically, to create a job, you just add a job here. And you can specify some of the parameters like season, the reference period, the learning period, and the sensitivity, and select the metrics that you want to really do a machine learning on, right? So once I click into this Kubernetes, this is a Kubernetes pod CPU. So if I explore one of them manually, of course, this will be done in the background automatically. But if you look at the system already detects anomaly based on the past data trend, right? So if I zoom down a little bit, you see that it's auto detecting the spikes. Of course, The spike can get less and less and more. It depends on the sensitivity that you set to the algorithm, right? If I push sensitivity down, you don't detect, but if I push it up a lot, everything is abnormal, right? So it's finding that sensitivity based on the data. Some people ask me, can you do this automatically? My answer is no, because different, even for CPU utilization, different servers for different use, they have a different past history trend. You have to look at the trend and decide how much of sensitivity you want. But once you got that, it's automatically running, and when the new metrics coming in, it will actually tell you, hey, something is abnormal. It's not different from the rest. 12 o'clock noon yesterday, it was 15% for the past 7 days, but today it's like 80%. And that happens without you setting threshold. It's quite amazing. For outlier detection, maybe I just do a quick sharing. So outliers, I can take the same CPU outliers, right? So if I just click on this outlier machine learning job, give it a second while it computes. Yeah. So you see a red color. Red color means that actually, if you look at the top right, outlier detection for 10 objects, right? So it detects 2 outliers. That means 2 renegades. So if I just allow me to turn away all these things so you can click, I just switch off a few. So you see that these are the 2 lines are the outlier, right? But if you look at this outlier, obviously this even from human eye you can't tell, but with the machine algorithm now you can tell that, oh, the red line is actually a little bit unique because it's actually generally higher than the rest of the group. And if you use this kind of information well, I think you're going to be able to optimize your infrastructure well. Who knows? It could be a fan faulty on one of the server causing the CPU to actually throttle down. And that's why you're having low CPU for that server and things like that. Right. So I believe that's very useful. My last part of the demo, give me a sec. So my last part of the demo is actually just to show a very quick overview of the synthetic transaction. So this is the website that I like. So assuming I'm a CTO, I'm not assuming I'm a CTO of Hacker News, right? I would love users to be able to learn to understand that my user can go to this page, can scroll through and maybe search for something called crypto. And once the search comes out, it should return within certain time. I can click on comments and look at the comment. So as CEO or CTO, I'm really interested in how my business is appearing to the users, right? So with NetGain, it's very simple. We just go to synthetic script. This can be recorded using a Chrome recorder. All your Chrome recorder will have this recorder. Once you record the script, you can actually export the recorded script and you can actually import it from after you record into a JSON file. And once you record, you can just play it here. So it's actually playing and you see that this is automatic control, right? Meaning that the CEO or the CTO of Hacker News now have a very good peace of mind because there is not a person, there's a software that is automatically checking this for him all the time. I'm not touching my keyboard, right? So it's doing all these things and checking, and it can be done on the background. It can be done every minute, every hour, depending on the choice. And isn't that wonderful? Because I don't care about IT, right? I care about if customer can access my website. That's the first signal, and I'm going to chase after the IT team on that. So I think synthetic is very powerful in that way. So that's all I have. Hopefully you like my very short and quick demo. I've shown you some of the major features, and we are actually working very hard to move one step closer to our dream of a comprehensive full stack observability suite that really makes sense for our partners and customers. And hopefully we can bring out the 4 attributes like unified, easy to use, really easy to use, affordable, and customizable. Right? That's all I have. I hope I didn't overrun. James, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Soon Siang. Okay, so I'd like to summarize today's session. So first, thank the speakers for taking us through, and also thank all of you for your attention during this period. So I started off by introducing about IT observability, what it is, and how it benefits organizations. And then Albert was answering the questions, some of the key questions that all of our customers have been asking. And in the process, he also demonstrated our products, so metric monitoring, logs and security analytics, as well as APM. And then Soon Sia ended off by giving you a sneak peek of our upcoming major new features, so Dashboard 2.0, AI Ops, and synthetic monitoring. And I'd just like to end off by reiterating our value proposition. As you can see, we have a unified single pane of glass. We are easy to use because we are designed for smaller IT teams, fully customizable so that we can fit our solution to our customers' environment. And last but not least, of course, we are affordable and cost-effective. Okay, so I will hand you back to Min to start the Q&A.
Yeah, thanks the three speakers for dashing through a lot of content to cover. We only have 5 more minutes, but I would really love to cover all the questions that has came in through the Q&A box. So if we could take 5 more minutes of your time past the hour, that will be really appreciated. So let me just quickly shoot off one of the very interesting questions. Perhaps James can take this on. How different are you from other players in the market?
Okay.
Not an easy one.
Okay, thanks Min, and thanks for the person who asked the question. I think, from a NetGain perspective, we do respect our competitors, right? So competitors are important because it forces all of us to be innovative. So as AI Ops itself, I think that by itself is a differentiator, because you'll find that a lot of especially the mid-end brands, they are not able to provide this capability. But I think overall to the market, where NetGain comes in is what the 4 points I've mentioned: unified, easy to use, customizable, and cost-effective. But I thought I want to talk about one item called easy to use, right? So easy to use is not a marketing tagline, because this is something is actually a design philosophy for NetGain. Even from day one, when Soon Sia started the first iteration, easy to use has been a key requirement, so to speak. And the reason for this is simple, right? Because in Asia Pacific, actually, it is very difficult to find IT ops team, which are very big with a lot of skill set like IT skills, network skills, DevOps skills, security skills, right? It's very hard to hire and retain such talent. So most of the time when we look at companies in Asia Pacific, their ops team is not that big, maybe 1 to 5 people. So for us, NetGain, we also recognize that, and we purposely design our solution we take away the complexity without compromising the performance. And earlier, Soon Sia shared about AI Ops, right? And I think AI Ops is a real game changer here, because his example about you don't have to set thresholds anymore, no more static threshold, there'll be dynamic thresholds. I think that's a great example of how easy to use, how we can remove the complexity and then without compromising performance. So I think easy to use is a real differentiator. We do hear our customers give us positive feedback around that. So I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, thanks, James. To follow through on the similar questions, it's what type of customization you provide for your enterprise customers or IT SP customers? What are the common types of customization you provide for your customers? Albert, you want to address that?
Yeah, maybe I will address that. Since I have more experience on that, during the discussion with customers, they have different requirements as well. We do understand that the company, infra is complex and different for each of the environment. That's why when it comes to the detailed requirement, we always discuss with customer whether they have some customized or specific requirement they would like to achieve, which those features might not be available out of box. So in short, there will be 3 customization: dashboard, reports, and also data integration with third party. So the last one I want to elaborate more is the integration could be from our solution to another system. So particularly to a notification system. But most of the time is customer would like to take in some of the data from other system, like from IoT, from their robot system, and also from others other cloud service providers, and or any other OT service systems. So we're all welcome and happy to discuss with the detailed requirement and help customer to fulfill those customization requests. Yeah.
Thanks, Albert. Maybe you'll take this one as well. Can you monitor also database? If yes, what are the types of database can you monitor?
Yeah, so I have also replied the answers in the Q&A in the Zoom. Answer is yes. Oracle database, Microsoft SQL, MongoDB, as well as DB2, we are able to monitor. But we do have other database can monitor like Sybase and Elasticsearch. Okay. That's all my answer. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Albert. So perhaps this question to Soon Sia: can anomaly detection be turned on, applied universally to all monitored metrics?
That's a very good question, right? I when I was talking to one of my good friend and a good customer, he was asking, "This is good. So can I apply it to all my metrics, right? So it's easy, right?" Technically, yes. But I will come with two caveats or two advice, right? First of all is that machine learning eats up compute power, because running the algorithm against data like 7 days, 30 days do take up compute power no matter how optimized the algorithm is. So applying that to all your metrics, right, you have to worry about the cost impact in terms of the compute that you need to. The other thing is that you don't want to get alert fatigue, or some people alarm fatigue, let's call it. You got too many anomalies happening until that you don't care about anomalies anymore. So you run that. So my advice is still use it sparingly, use it based on need basis. Look at what are the important metrics that you really can't protect. What are the things that using static thresholds is good enough, you are comfortable enough, and what are the metrics that you're not sure and you want to apply machine learning, you can test it out and increment it slowly. I think that would be the most sane approach. But yeah, again, technically, the short answer is yes, but do have consider all these factors. Thank you.
Yeah, we still have quite a few questions, but attendees, participants, do continue to put it into your Q&A box. If we can't address it now live in the webinar, we will get back to you via emails. So let me continue with what we have from the list here. James, will AI Ops be sold under a separate license? What is the selling model for AI Ops?
Yeah, actually, we have not made a decision on this. So with regards to our next step on the product itself, you will be hearing a lot more from us. But initial thoughts is that AI Ops is something that applies across the full metrics, logs, and traces, right? So I think it's unlikely that we'll sell it as a separate module. But stay tuned for what comes next. It's coming soon. Thanks.
Okay, so it's definitely the underlying of the next launched highlights. Okay. So another question to Soon Sia, or maybe Albert can add on. Can dashboards be used to display data from multiple NetGain instances?
Okay, let me quickly answer. The short answer is yes. That's one of the key reasons we designed dashboard, because we do have managed service provider using NetGain different instances to monitor for their customers, and they keep talking to us about, can I have some single console that look at all my customers, even though there are different instances? So yes, we have definitely built that into our new dashboard framework, and it can be done easily. And sometimes if you've done it so nice, you can't even know that the data is coming from 2 instances or 2 sites. Thank you.
Okay.
Albert, anything to add?
Yeah, so definitely our dashboard will be expandable and also quite flexible for you to display data from multiple NetGain SaaS instances. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Thanks, Albert. We are 2 minutes past 11, so I'll just shoot the last questions. The other question, we will definitely get back to you via email from the email address that you have registered. When we have an outage, who will be notified?
So
Albert,
maybe,
you want to? Yeah.
in our alerts module, we do have the certain features and also configuration could be done for you to create and alert the specific person or operation teams that you would like to alert to. Yeah. So in short is that whoever should receive the alerts will receive the alerts when there's outage.
Okay, that's a pretty okay. Yeah, thanks so much for the speaker to squeeze so much into such a short hour. So Albert, James, and Sunxia, is there anything you want to cover or summarize before we end the call?
James is on mute, I think.
For our next announcements coming soon. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I just like to say I see a lot of friends in the participant. Some of them are quite close, some customers, partners. So yeah, thanks for attending this meeting. I hope this session gives you more insight into what NetGain does and what is upcoming for NetGain. Really appreciate your time, your precious time joining this event. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining the session. Give us a chance for us to show you the new features. Yeah, I hope that you really have some takeaway from this session. I hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Okay, with that, thanks everybody. That concludes our webinar today. Again, appreciate you for giving us an hour of your time, and we really hope that you find the hour well spent. As always, please do not hesitate to reach out to our team, ourselves directly for any questions and follow-up that we can continue by after this event. Thanks again. We'll see you at our next session and look out for what we are yet to announce in the next couple of weeks. Thank you, everybody.